2, and 1. Talkin Nets, episode 131. Not looking good. Not forever, but not looking good to start. That was a bad look for the Clays. I'm glad Nets fans have taken on Kevin Durant's nickname for our home arena, Barclays Center, which is pronounced Barclays Center, is now abbreviated to the Clays, a.k.a. the Clees, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter. It was a bad look out there today. We had Trump supporters out there, anti-vaxxers out there. We couldn't even get our fans into the arena because it was mobbed with people protesting with signs that said, "Stand with Kyrie," giving out signs, American flags. And let's get just to the basketball, right? That was a bad game. That wasn't a game that we should have lost. That was a bad second half, bad first quarter too, turnovers, missed shots, not running, not getting back on defense, not having other options, bad ball movement, bad decisions. Too many guys looking to dish, but we'll get into that. We'll also talk a little bit about the Philly game Friday. Talkin Nets, let's get it. Yes, sir. Welcome back to Talkin Nets. Keith McPherson, solo for Dolo. I'm home. Just came back from Barclays, the Clays, and I'm not feeling great about the vibes, not feeling great about the energy, not feeling great about your Brooklyn Nets. I am feeling great about the giveaways, though. Shout out to the Brooklyn Nets, always taking care of the fans. They did a plaza party at 1:30 today, and they tried to set up a court and give out free T-shirts. I actually got 2 free T-shirts today. Here's one, if you can see on the camera. It says, "Embrace your Brooklyn," and the other one said, "Embrace the moment." This one actually got shot out of a T-shirt cannon and came to me, lucky. And then the other one was just on my chair, but on the back of my seat. But shout out to the Nets for doing the right thing and trying to have fans come together outside of Barclays and get free stuff and shoot the basketball and take pictures and be excited about their team. Oh, wait. Some people had other plans. What do you mean other people had plans? So I heard about this a couple days ago before today, that there was a Stand with Kyrie rally that was going to happen Sunday outside of Barclays. And I'm like, oh, great. Here we go. The first thing Kyrie Irving said on media day was that he didn't want to be a distraction. And look at how much of a distraction this actually has become. I didn't see this coming, but I think I said a couple episodes ago that I stopped pushing the "We Support Kyrie" stuff. The "We Support Kyrie" shirts, if you look at them, they're in the Basquiat font because we made them last year when the Basquiat jerseys came out, way before all of this. And I stopped pushing that "We Support Kyrie" stuff because I didn't want to be confused. I didn't want there to be any gray area, any blurred lines about where I stood, right? Because guys like Ted Cruz, Donald Trump Jr., they've taken this and spun it, and now you actually have the same type of people that you saw storm the Capitol in the beginning of this year showing up to the Barclays Center with signs in support of Kyrie. They flipped this. They flipped this whole thing, and only one man can change it. No, it's not de Blasio. No, it's not the next guy that's going to replace de Blasio. It's not about the mandate. Kyrie's stance of being a voice for the voiceless, they're not voiceless. Look at all these randos that showed up to Brooklyn and Barclays today. They weren't even basketball fans. Those people were there with their own agenda, and they ruined things. The Nets had to close the entrance into the front of Barclays at the atrium. They had to stop letting people in there. People were going around the left side of the building, trying to get into the Qatar Airways VIP entrance. I ended up getting in with my boy John, shout out to Mr. Burn Notice, through the Amex VIP entrance because John had his American Express on him. That's not how you have a home opener. That's opening day for your Brooklyn Nets in a season that we're trying to win a championship, and it was tainted. Why was it tainted? Because Kyrie didn't get the shot, and the media ran with it and made this whole thing, and now you got these jokers that are standing with Kyrie. Let Kyrie play. They're out there making a scene, and we're just trying to watch some hoops. We're just trying to watch basketball. I was just trying to see my team play in a real game. Now let's talk about the game. Had to get that rant off. The energy sucked. The day was ruined. The day sucked. As soon as you pull up to Barclays Center and you see all of these people, it's one thing to come out from the subway and see all these people like playoff energy, like Nets fans and Nets jerseys. No, these people had on combat boots and hoodies. These dudes had on trucker hats and American flags. What was going on? That energy messed everything up, in my opinion, because people were in line, confused what was happening. People were entering the arena talking about it. Our fans couldn't get in, where people were on Twitter like, Keith, where is everybody? Keith, how come Barclays looks empty? And I'm like, well, one, we're a late arriving crowd, hence the 4 p.m. opener on a Sunday. Didn't want to open on a weekday night at 7 because no one would get there till 8:30. I actually sat in a seat where the two people, I was in seats 3 and 4 with my boy John. The people that were in 5 and 6 didn't show up till the second half today. And they saw a terrible second half. So let's start with no notes. I'll pull up the box score if I need it, but I don't really need it. I'm tired of the Brooklyn Nets starting slow. I'm tired of having to say that, oh, we start slow, we're a second half team. I'm tired of saying, oh, they'll close. We got 2 of the best closers. Man, fuck all that. Energy. The energy was off from the whack vibes outside to the start of the game. Blake Griffin didn't start. That was a surprise, maybe an hour before the game. We're resting Blake because it's back-to-back. Okay. Javon Carter gets to start. And one thing I'll say to y'all is this. It's not preseason. Javon Carter, we need you to hit those shots, bro. Actually, we'll pull up the box score so I don't, say that he went 1 for 7. I think he went 1 for 7. Javon Carter in the preseason looked great. I was saying if Javon Carter is knocking down threes like this, the league is in trouble. This is great. We have Javon Carter stepping in. He's bringing defense that Kyrie doesn't bring. He's the bulldog. If he's hitting his shots, watch out. So he gets to start today. Javon Carter goes 1 for 7. I was correct with that. He goes 1 for 5 from deep. He has a total of 3 points. My guy played 25 minutes, almost 26, 25, 45. And that sucks for your first start as a Brooklyn Net. Didn't go great. Another guy, Nick Claxton. I don't know what's up with you, bro. I know you're young. I know you're figuring it out, but I saw KD yelling at you. I saw Nash get out of his seat mad at you. I saw Harden land into you. I think enough is enough. It's your 3rd year. It's your prove-it year. It's a year that we're depending on you, that we're starting you the first 3 games at center for the Brooklyn Nets. We drafted you. We want to see you ball out. But you came in out of shape. We've talked about this so much, about Summer League, right? He opted out of Summer League. He came in out of shape. They said he parties too much. He has too good of a time. Well, all that should be done. These games count now. We're 1 and 2. Nick Claxton doesn't get a lot of points. So Claxton goes 1 for 3. He had 5 points. But one of the buckets he made, Claxton, he likes to flex a little bit. He likes to show off, look at the crowd, like, He did that, and guys were like, yo, get back in transition. Get back on defense. The defense today was trash. It was so trash. Let's look at not the Nets in the box score. Let's look at who killed us. I was about to tweet out, what is Miles Bridges' career high? He didn't get it tonight, but he went off. He had 32. We had no answers for him. I don't know if Blake could have helped with that. I don't know. I don't have the answers for that. He was 9 of 16. He hit 3 threes. He had 32 points, 9 rebounds, another 2 assists. He had his way. And coming into the game, I'm thinking we got to worry about Melo. I'm thinking Melo Ball is going to come out here and put on a show. I also was thinking that, of course, they want to play spoiler. We played spoiler in Philly for their home opener. The Charlotte Hornets are in New York with the world watching. They want to play spoiler against the big, bad Brooklyn Nets, and they did. Behind him, another guy that hates the Nets. It wasn't his career high. Well, LaMelo Ball got 18, but behind LaMelo Ball, Ish Smith. Do you Nets fans remember Ish Smith cooking us with the Wizards? Ish Smith has it out for the Nets. Somebody should have flagged him early. And I understand what we were doing out there a little bit, but we had no answer for Ish Smith off the bench. He had 15. He was in control. It didn't matter who was on him. Bruce Brown, Javon Carter. I guess they did a good job containing LaMelo Ball. They were throwing Bruce Brown and Javon Carter at him quickly. As soon as the game started, Javon Carter got a foul pushing LaMelo. And let's talk about that. Let's talk about these fouls. So I'm tired of being the guy that cries about fouls and no calls. I'm tired of being the fan that's always saying, like, these refs. It's a little different, bro. So right away, we start off in foul trouble. Harden spent the entire game like this. Oh, where's it at? Come on. Oh, where's my call? You didn't see that? He literally just had his hands out looking for foul calls the entire game. And instead of calling the fouls, which those refs missed hella calls, the whole arena saw it. They missed a lot of calls on KD and Harden, and they do that because these are two of the top 75 players of all time. They watch them in amazement. They watch them get hacked, and then they eat their whistles. We don't get the calls. But he got a phantom call later in the game where I'm like, oh, they're just going for him. They're just going for him. So Harden mentally wasn't there. With the no foul calls, and I think Nash in the post game said that Harden is now the poster boy for the league changes, and supposedly this is a record. This season, through the first 3 games, has had the least trips to the foul line for the entire league. You can't draw a foul the way you used to, Trae Young, James Harden. You can't draw the fouls that you're used to getting, shooting a 3, driving, stopping, a defender running into you as you pull up short. You can't do that anymore. They missed a lot of calls, but at the same time, play ball, man. Play basketball. You can't be crying to the refs the entire game looking for calls. If you spend the whole game crying and not playing, the Hornets are going to kill you. The Hornets, I think I put out a tweet, these young boys are going to run with us. We have Paul Millsap and LaMarcus Aldridge out there, which I'm happy to see the contribution that they're making now, veteran guys. But how much do they really have left? Paul Millsap gave us 7. And LaMarcus Aldridge, after his great performance, I'm looking at the wrong box score. He gave us 23 last game, and Paul Millsap gave us 7 last game. Paul Millsap this game gave us 5. LaMarcus Aldridge gave us 9 this game. Coming off a great game in Philly, he wasn't going to be able to follow that up. These guys are older guys. They're over 35. But he played 21 minutes. Millsap had 8 minutes. We can't run with these young boys. The Martins, P.J. Washington, LaMelo Ball, Ish Smith, Bridges, McDaniels. They got young guys. Gordon Hayward, he's not the youngest guy, but their energy back and forth, up and down the court was there. I'm a little concerned about the Brooklyn Nets. But when I say a little concerned, I mean literally a little, because it's the 3rd game. Don't panic. Joe Harris. Let's talk about Joe Harris for a second, bros. Joe Harris today had 7 points. He's a starter. He starts every game. We gave him a 4-year, $75 million contract, and Joe Harris is expected to be one of the best shooters in the league and a consistent contributor on this Brooklyn Nets team as a starter. He's supposed to be an offensive weapon. He's not been an offensive weapon, and he's definitely a defensive liability. Come on, yo. I'm looking at Joe Harris. He's just not the same right now. It's been 3 games. He's got flashes of it, but he's not the same. Maybe he's got to lose the headband. Maybe headband Harris isn't really rocking off. But Joe looks timid. He looks afraid. He's looking to dish too much. He's not hitting shots that are open still. What did he end up going? 3 for 6, 1 for 3 from deep. It's not enough. If he's starting, like, he can do that coming off the bench. I don't know, man. It sucks because everybody's going to point to Kyrie. Even in the post game, KD said something like, of course we want Kyrie on the court. We want Kyrie on the floor with us. That was the plan. But he's not here, and nobody is waiting for Kyrie to save us. We have what we have. We got 38 from Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is looking like the early favorite for MVP, but y'all knew that. Like, no surprise there. Harden, he was cooking a little bit. We saw some vintage Harden, but like I said, he cried too much, and he couldn't really get into the game. Patty Mills missed his first, I think, 3 shots in a row after being perfect from deep. You knew he had to cool off. Patty Mills ends up going 2 for 10, 1 for 6 from deep. 5 points. It's tough. And he played a lot of minutes. He had 31 minutes. He did not have the point production that he had in the last 2 games. What else did I want to talk about from this game? The Hornets are going to be a better team than people are giving them credit for. Obviously, they're the Hornets. I saw a lot of people like, oh my God, Charlotte, you can't lose to Charlotte. they're going to be a good team. And they might have a couple all-stars on that team. Bridges might be an all-star. Melo might be an all-star. Ish Smith played like an all-star. The Nets blew that game. They were up 8 points at half. And when I said they started slow, they came back and tied it, right? They started slow. They were down like 11-4. They came back and tied it 21-21. It was 58-50 going in at half. That second half, we couldn't stop anybody. We turned the ball over. Let me see if I can get the team stats, because the way we turned the ball over in these first 3 games, I'm sure there's going to be somebody out there that is going to put together the team stats on the Brooklyn Nets. The turnovers are terrible. Like, at the end, KD had a turnover. I was just like, bro, that's the game. And then they come back, hit a 3. That's the worst. You're watching the Nets turn the ball over, and then it turns into points for them. I've seen it multiple times. It happens in basketball, but I feel like it happens to us extra. Where are the team stats? Okay, team stats, and then we're going to move on from this game. It's 1 loss. The home opener forever is tainted by the Trump supporters that pulled up to make it about them. They weren't interested in basketball. They don't care about Kyrie. They don't watch Kyrie. They are laughing. We just gave them an extra reason to protest. They're still butthurt over the election, and they showed up today with a reason to protest, and it ruined things for us from the jump. So we shot terribly from 3. 9 for 35. That's a 25% clip. Ugh, disgusting. Better from the free throw line. 83%. 10 to 12. Good. Looking like a team that's more locked in, taking the freebies. Rebounds, we were right there with them, 48 and 44. But this is where we lost the game, in my opinion. Total turnovers. We had 17 turnovers, and we seem to get out in front with those turnovers, baby. We get out in the lead with those turnovers. We got out in front with the turnovers, and they ended up having 29 points off turnovers. 17 turnovers, 29 points off of turnovers. We also didn't get back in transition, right? When I talk about these young boys outrunning us, out hustling us, and then our young guys like Nick Claxton flexing instead of getting back on defense, they had 19 fast break points, and they beat us up in the paint. They had 56 points in the paint. We ended up with 19 fouls. They had 17 fouls. Their largest lead was 16, and that came at the end. Our largest lead was 10. That's not a game we're supposed to lose, but we lost. Your Brooklyn Nets are 1-2. They lose the home opener. Now, before we go back and talk about the Sixers really quick, I'd like to hit the chat. I see some of y'all in the chat. Let me scroll back and see if there's anything that I want to throw up here. We'll start at the top. Fire Nash. Man, they're not going to fire Nash unless this team completely fails this year, which I don't think they're going to fail. I think they will absolve Nash. I think that this team will be able to figure it out and make up for, whatever you guys are blaming Nash for now. I think we got to give Nash some time. Do you think the new rules that Harden have a bad season this year? No, I don't think that because of the new rules, James Harden will have a bad season, but it's an adjustment. Okay, now we get to go baseball for a second. In Major League Baseball, if you guys are Yankee fans, you watched Garrett Cole in the beginning of the season, and then the spider tack came. Not just Garrett Cole, but a lot of starting pitchers had to adjust to the new rules. MLB banned any type of sticky substance, spider tack, whatever these guys are using, you can't use it. It takes time to adjust. Harden is one of the best we've ever seen. It's going to take him some time to adjust his game. He's so used to being on the NBA floor, knowing his basketball IQ, when he gets in certain situations, all right, boom, I'm going to draw a foul here. Or, okay, this is an opportunity. And when he doesn't get it, he's out there like, come on, where's my call? And they're not giving it up. So I don't think he's going to have a bad season. I just think he has to adjust. Let's see. Next time I have a question for you. Do you think that's the same question. Do you think with the new rule changes in hiding not being, that's supposed to say Harden, in hiding not being able to get calls that will run the game in a bad way, do you think that he will adjust later in the season? I think he's going to adjust this week. We have 5 games in a row at home. That was the first one. I ran out of there. I think there was either a timeout or a stoppage, something at 2 minutes. And I was like, all right, I'm hitting the train before it gets too crazy out here. It was crazy walking in. I didn't know what the scene was going to be like after all the Trump supporters left. Let's see. Thoughts on the protest outside Barclays? Rafiq, my guy. Check out Rafiq. What's the name of Rafiq's show? Nothing But That Sports Talk. I was on his podcast, Nothing But That Sports Talk. Check him out on Instagram, Twitter. Rafiq, I already answered that. thoughts on the protest outside of Barclays? I was disgusted. They flipped the whole entire Kyrie thing to make it a political thing, a Republican thing, and I'm not rocking with it. That's why I said, that's why I pulled back my like we support Kyrie post, because I can't rock with that. I can't support that. So let's keep going. Let's keep going. Defense was bad. 3-point shooting was awful. I already said that. Your Shure mic is clear. Yeah, we're connected on the Shure mic, not my MacBook mic that I was on by accident. The Nets were outscored in the third quarter 29-20, and in the fourth quarter 32-17. Thank you, Jarrett. Like I said, that's not a game you're supposed to lose. But when you go up at halftime, up 8, thinking that these young boys from Charlotte aren't going to come out there trying to run with you, thinking that you've got KD to just close the game for you. KD was getting his shots off. He had 38. But if it's not KD, who's the second option? If Harden is crying about fouls and he's not cooking, there is no second option. Javon Carter couldn't hit shots. Patty Mills couldn't hit shots. Joe Harris, I'm just kind of indifferent on Joe at this point. He's got a long way to go to like get some people back because it's just not looking good. Let's see. They made the Hornets look like the Bucks. Claxton is horrible. Fire Steve Nash. All right, let's get some questions. Where is Kyrie? Where's Kyrie? That's a question they were asking in Boston. That's what the Celtics fans were chanting. Where is Kyrie? Who knows? Who knows? I was in a Spaces where somebody said, yo, Kyrie's done with the Nets. You think the Brooklyn Nets owner is going to go for that? Nah. The Brooklyn Nets actually opened Barclays last year in 2020 as a space for people to come after some of the Black Lives Matter protests. And there were some Black Lives Matter rallies right on the steps of the Barclays, right in the front door. The Tsai family, the Brooklyn Nets, they've been outspoken in, these political settings and these tough times. I don't think they like that at all. Like, wow, we have a player that decided to fight the mandate, and now we have a mob of people, and we've seen this mob. They look the same. They look the same. Every time you see them, they look the same. And they showed up today and ruined opening day for your Brooklyn Nets. It's unfortunate. I wish Kyrie would see that and say, this is not it. This is not what I want. Nope, it's gone too far. Now my name is synonymous with Trump supporters. My name is with the Republicans and the conservatives and the people that showed up to literally, they blocked the whole street, yo. They had the whole street blocked. It was a mess out there. So let's see. A couple more questions, and then we'll talk about the Philly game to wrap this up. Who can they trade to replace Kyrie? Now, there was a report out there that the Nets have been getting calls, but the Nets aren't listening to calls or whatever. These reports are stupid. Of course, every NBA team is getting calls on players, especially in the beginning of the season, as teams are trying to figure things out. There is a trade deadline, but I just don't think they're looking to trade Kyrie. They're looking for Kyrie to stop all of this. They're looking for Kyrie to get the shot and this be done. But I think that Kyrie's not going to just get the shot. I think Kyrie's going to wait this whole year out. 2021 will end. And then when 2022 starts, we'll see what happens with New York State mandates, if COVID spikes this winter, whatever. It's unfortunate because, like I said, we support Kyrie. I feel like he is misunderstood. But as of right now, I can't rock with that. Like, we support Kyrie came last year when people were mad at him just taking a leave for the birth of his son. But this is way different now, Kyrie. I don't think you thought all the way through about this. This has snowballed. This has gotten out of control. And it's affected everybody. You think these guys aren't distracted by that? Hearing that, they had to close an entrance and their own fans couldn't come into the game because there was a mob of protesters out there. Like, that shit was whack. How many games are you ready to give the team to adjust? It's this week, okay? We have 5 games. Let's do that. Let's look at the schedule. We have 5 games at home. The Nets started off with the first 2 on the road. The Nets have this whole week at home. So I'm probably going to go to all 6 of the games because, like, why not? We play the Wizards Monday. Some people will be listening to this podcast, so let this be your pump-up pod for Monday night's game. Spencer Dinwiddie returns to Brooklyn. Your Brooklyn Nets face the Washington Wizards, looking to go 2-2. And then we got Miami at home on Wednesday. Whoo, boy. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be in there for that. Hold on to your seats. The Pacers come here. Karis LeVert coming back on Friday. And then we've got the Detroit Pistons here Sunday. And then we've got the Atlanta Hawks here Wednesday. Pistons should be easy, but them Hawks are tough. This is the week. Figure it out. Because I know the Hawks are going to come in here looking for smoke. Maybe the Pacers too. The Chris Duarte rookie, that kid's looking like he wants nothing but buckets. He wants parts of everyone and everything on the floor. The Miami Heat, you already know. Tyler Hero coming off the bench for them, killing. They already got Bam. They already got Jimmy. They already got Lowry. Like, Duncan Robinson, like the Heat are going to come into Barclays looking to smoke us. So that's your Brooklyn Nets upcoming schedule for the week. Yay. See you at the Clays. Back to the basketball. Friday, I'll tell y'all a little story. So Friday, I had full intentions on joining the BK Block and the Brooklyn Brigade. They chartered a bus from Penn Station, went all the way down to Wells Fargo Center in Philly to see your Brooklyn Nets get their first win. I wasn't going to get on the bus. I didn't reserve a ticket because I didn't know I could make it. But Friday morning, I was literally Friday morning going to my boy's crib to pick up, sneaker plug, going to my boy's crib to pick up my KDs. And I'm driving to my boy's crib to get my KDs. And I get into a minor car accident. I'm fine. Car is fine. Just a little bit of a crack in the front bumper and the light. I'm making a turn. It doesn't matter. But after I got in the car accident on Friday morning, I didn't want to drive 2 hours south to Philly. I just was out of it. Like, after you go through a quick little car accident, hopefully you never got in a car accident, but it just turns you off from driving. I was like, I do not want to be behind the wheel. Definitely not going down the turnpike. So I ended up not going to the game, but what I was able to do was stay here and clip for y'all like Hudson used to do on Talkin Nets Twitter, get you guys some highlights, get you guys some clips from the game. And then I was able to do an Instagram live, and we won that game. We won. And that was a game we could have lost. Your Brooklyn Nets were this close to being 0-3. I'm not going to hold you. We are this close to being an 0-3 team that was favored to win it all this year. It's a long season. It's 82 games. It's an 8-month process. Your Brooklyn Nets go down to Philly with all the Ben Simmons drama, with all the Kyrie drama. Ben Simmons says he needs some time and all this mental health. He's got to get his head right. He's not mentally ready to play. Cool, whatever. Joel Embiid comes out there and says, please support us and please support our brother Ben and please root for us as fans. And you know what? I heard a lot of those Sixers fans were turning up. They were talking big shit to some of our brigade members, some of my Nets fans that were out there. But the Nets go on a 16-1 run to close that game. T-dub. TWTW is the will to win. I saw the will to win out of your Brooklyn Nets. LaMarcus Aldridge wanted to win. 23 points. He gets player of the game. KD, 29 points. Doing what KD does. Triple, double. 15 rebounds, 12 assists. Who else balled out in that game? We got to give Patty some love. Patty was 4 for 5, 3 for 3 from 3, 11 points. James Harden. We saw some vintage James Harden there. He gave us 20. We need Harden to score. With no Kyrie, we need Harden to score. I know he's trying to distribute, but we need him to just score and stop looking for fouls. Joey Buckets look like the Joey Buckets we love. He gave us 14. Joey's got to he's got to have a consistent 15 points, bro. He's got to have a consistent 15 points. Paul Millsap chipped in. Javon Carter chipped in. James Johnson was in that game again with 0, but, we got to put the enforcer on the floor, big body. He makes some defensive plays, whatever. The biggest takeaway from the Sixers game is this. We fought hard, we closed out, and we actually played defense when it mattered. Embiid was on the bench in the fourth. I don't know what that was about. Maybe he was hurt. Maybe they were arresting him. It didn't matter. We played defense. A 16-1 run. There was a point in that game where I think it was 108-98 Sixers. And I'm like, oh, it's about to be over. And we figured it out, and we fought back and came back. And that was a desperation win. You could tell that was a desperate Nets win on the road, not trying to start 0-2. Sixers went cold, and we were able to finish the job. Nobody on the Sixers really killed us. Their top 2 scorers were Tobias Harris and Seth Curry with 23. Danny Green sucks. Danny Green, thank God for Danny Green going completely cold. Air balls, and then he had I think he had a blocking foul help give us the game. down the stretch. Danny Green should retire, bro. Like, respect your rings and your career. But, whew, he looked like shit at the end of that game. That helped us a ton. Andre Drummond, LOL. Why would they sign Andre Drummond to back up Embiid? I guess load managing depth. Other than that, they didn't really kill us, man. Seth Curry, Embiid had 19, and like I said, he sat that whole quarter. So it doesn't matter because today's game already erased the joy of the first win in Philly. We are 1-2. It was a bad look for the Clays. Nets lose the home opener, and I will take 3 minutes of questions, and then we will wrap this thing up. Talkin Nets, episode 131. I appreciate y'all in the chat. The chat is active on YouTube. It's a one-man operation. I went to the game, threw some social media stuff out from the game, sprinted out, got on the train, got home to record the pod so some people could continue the Nets talk. I saw some spaces. I jumped into the spaces, and when I told people, come pull up to YouTube, we'll continue the talk here. And then someone's going to be listening to this in the morning like, all right, that game sucked. It was a bad look for the Clays, but we have 5 games in a row this week at home against good competition. The Nets need to turn the page and figure it out. It's a back-to-back. We got to be ready to rock against the Wizards. So in the chat, I see Luis in the chat now. T-Rex in the chat now. What up, y'all? All right, let's see. Is there a question coming? Danny Green now. Sixers, no. What's good with Nash? That's a question that I should ask y'all in the chat. What's good with Nash? Actually, what's wrong with Nash? Tell me what you guys have a problem with Steve Nash. Like, tell me what you're seeing that you'd like differently or like done differently or where you're looking for Nash to improve in the first 3 games. I'm not waiting. I'm just drinking my water. I'll tell you, Nash, oh man, this is a complete new team. It's a veteran team with experience, but it's a complete new team. And when you just bring in a completely new team with a second-year coach that most people are still looking at like, I don't know if this guy is head coach material or not, it's tough. He's experimenting. He's openly said he's experimenting with things. And we all know these are regular season games for us that we're going to live and die with every game. Like my guy Joe's McFly says, for baseball, 162 one-game seasons, 82 one-game seasons for basketball. We're going to feel it after every win and loss, but Nash ain't going to feel it. He's going to chill. I was happy to see Bruce Brown get into this game early. You could hear the crowd. I like that people are doing Bruce for Bruce now. I was yelling. I was one of the main ones. I saw him as soon as he got up. And I'm like, BB, Biggie Smalls, let's go. Bruce Brown, let's go. Nash, we'll figure it out. Sometimes I just need him to help us and call timeout. Call timeout when we're getting smoked, bro. When they're going on a run, don't let that run go to 6-0. Don't let that run go to 8-0. Like, call timeout. If we look a mess, we're turning the ball over, not good ball movement, can't get clean shots, call timeout and regroup. Rotations, I know y'all going to complain about the rotations, but it is what it is. And I hate to shit on Kyrie again, but things will look a lot different with one Kyrie Irving in the rotation. There's not too many options to go to. It's KD or nothing. It's Harden if he's cooking and not crying. It's hopefully these older bigs and Millsap and LaMarcus Aldridge can get us a couple buckets in the paint. Nick Claxton is not going to be an offensive weapon. Joe Harris is still shook from last year, might be broken. Bruce Brown hit a 3 today. That was cool. When he came in, that's right away. He hit a 3. That's something we did see in preseason that translated. I don't know where else we're going for our, Patty Mills. I don't know where else we're going for points. It's an unfortunate situation, y'all. So that's all we've got. It's 8 o'clock. It's been a 40-minute episode. I appreciate all of y'all pulling up on YouTube in the chat. The chat was lit. I'll see you guys on Instagram, Twitter. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Talkin Nets. Make sure you subscribe to the pod. And actually, we need reviews on the pod. We have over 100 reviews, but the last one was from after Game 7 last year. I need that off. I need there to be some new reviews. If you write a review, we'll read your name and what you write right here on the pod. Check out the merch store. We've got new merch. Got the KD shirt, the like KD silhouette shirt, like Harden with the Coogee in it. That shit's fire. I just ordered a bunch of my own ideas on shirts in the Talkin Nets merch. You'll see me wearing it, but go to shop.johnboymedia.com, click on podcast merch, search Talkin Nets, order you some swag. We gonna be all right, y'all. Call the voicemail Next episode will be Thursday night, I believe, after the next 2 games. And I think I'm going to bring a guest on for that. So call in. We'll take voicemails. The voicemail is 201-870-0461. You can be heard right here on Talkin Nets. And that's all we've got, y'all. Keep your head up. We're 1-2. Haters going to hate. Let the lames begin. There's a lot of people watching that are rooting for us to fail. But what you got to know is it's an 8-9 month journey. It's a 82 game season plus playoffs. It is a long ride. It's a long ride to get to the finish line, and we'll figure it out. We've got the talent to figure it out, and we're not gonna, let a bunch of L's roll. Like, if I'll be damned if we lose. Let's say there's 5 games at home. I'll be damned if we lose 4 of these games. We're not losing 3 of these games. Like, we got to figure out how to defend home court and win these games this week, and I think we will. That's all I've got. It was good seeing some of y'all at Barclays, the Clays. I'm going to just call it the Clays because that's what KD called. It was good seeing y'all at the Clays today. You'll see me there all week. If you see me, say what's up. My name is Keith, but if you call me Talkin Nets, I appreciate that as well, Let's go Nets. Let's go Nets. Brooklyn. And that's the show. Appreciate y'all. Hit like on the way out.